Hey guys, we're back here to talk about more lies that NK does during her interview, which she lies more in this interview than she tells the truth. So here we go. All right, here comes the other lie. I'm going to play it for you and then discuss how you can tell she's lying.
Just an overall demeanor over the 8, 10, 12 weeks that you guys knew each other.
It wasn't that long. It was like 6 weeks that we were hanging out. Well, I guess we knew each other longer.
Okay, but you met him in the office and
Clearing her
just his
throat.
overall persona. Who was he aggressive? Was he mellow? Was he calm? Was he outspoken? Who was Chris?
I think he's an introvert. I would consider him to be like a pretty, I don't want to say he's a very reserved individual. I think he's probably more reserved around other people. I think he emphasized to me that one of the reasons that he really enjoyed talking to me is because if he felt like he could get out of his shell. He said around most people, he just like didn't really feel the need to like talk and converse, and it wasn't just in his home life, just in general. It wasn't something where he's an introvert. And he said with me, it made him feel like he could really just start talking about things that excited him, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we had things in common. So with me, I think he was a little bit more outgoing, but even then, I would still consider him to be an introvert. I mean, not on the extreme end. If an introvert went to like 1 to 10, I'd put him at like a 4 or a 5. So on the lighter side of introvert.
Pretty even keeled.
Yes, like really relaxed, like all the time. He was never really like worked up about anything.
Okay, so whenever he asks about her knowing Chris, and he says 8 to 12 weeks, which seems far more appropriate that their relationship was longer than she has stated. You can hear her at first, no, it's only 6 weeks. And then, oh yeah, I bet we've known each other. She raises her tone. And then she's uncomfortable and clears her throat like that because bodies don't like lying. Okay, and then here she answers the question before the detective can finish saying what he's wanting to ask her.
An indication that
None.
That
indication, she says none.
Having issues. So during your guys' dating time, did you guys spend most of the time at your place?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
I told, or we'd go out, but I told Mark yesterday, he asked me if I went over there, and I told him about one time that I went over to that house. I've been to that house twice, but it was very, very...
This is the part of the interview that she gives more clues that she's lying than I think in any other part. Like in her voice, you can hear it. You can tell that her vocal cords are shaking the way that she swallows. So just listen for them.
Very brief, and it was not like an extended stay. I did not feel comfortable there, or like I just didn't want to be there. It's not my life. Like that is somebody else's life and somebody else's existence, and I respect that. That's their space. And so I used to tell him, "Well, come to my house because this is our space. This is my space." And so for me, out of respect, just for like whatever situation he had going on and the fact that it's not my home, I felt that it was better to be in my place. And I live alone. I don't have any roommates or anything, so it's pretty easy to do that.
Do you also see how she goes on and 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 on? He's just asking her simple, basic questions and just wants a simple, basic answer. And she can't do that.
During June and July, were you aware that his family was not... Did you meet his children?
No.
Okay, there was the question. Did you meet his children? No would be the simple answer if you had not met his children. And then you don't continue to go on, which I'm sure she does.
During June and July.
And he didn't ask me to.
See?
Okay.
I mean, not that I didn't want to ever. It was just not now. It's like you're not finalized with your separation. And not only that, we've barely been dating. Like, you can't introduce kids to somebody new in a situation like that. That's something that takes time. I mean, would I have liked to have met them? Of course. I mean, that would have been a great honor for me to have somebody introduce their children into my life, but not then. It was something that it was like, okay, well, let's see where we're at in 6 months. Let's see where we're at in a year. And if we're still doing this and you and me are still, happy with where we're at and you think that this is something that is going to be long term and is worth bringing your children into the picture, then yes, I would love to meet them. But it's like, not right now. You are still in this situation where you're not even completely out of it, and I'm getting in it, and that's not fair for them. And that was kind of the policy that I had with him, was it was just like, yes, but not yet.
So did he ask to introduce you to his children?
Not at that time. I think both him and I were on the same page of eventually, if things.
Do you see how he asked her another question, looking for a simple answer, then she goes on to talk about herself again? It's just too much.
Went as they should have.
I understand you guys' relationship is very new and young.
Yeah.
So, although it was short, just laying everything out helps us understand what actually was going on with him. And
Yep.
I might ask you a question and you're going, why the heck would he ask me that? Probably because I have information that I'm not willing to share with you, and I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to tell you some questions I'm going to ask you. Heck, I want to share some information with you. Just, it protects you and it protects our investigation. So if it seems weird, there's a reason I'm asking it,
That's
and
fine.
it's usually relative to what I know. So don't take offense to it. Again, was that recent?
No, that was like pretty early into it, and I did not like it and did not want to go
Listen to her voice.
back.
Do you recall where the house was?
Yeah, it's like right off the highway in Frederick.
And you know the streets?
I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out again if I like really had to. Like off the top of my head, no.
Do you know the street name?
No. I would have to like drive around in there to get there.
Did it look like anybody else lived at that house at that
Oh,
time?
definitely. I mean,
So
the
is that
whole
what
thing.
freaked you out?
I mean, he told me that he was living in the basement, and he said, we're separated, but we're not divorced, and we're going to get ready to sell the house. And that was the impression that I was under. And I was under the impression that they were taking everything pretty slow with this, with like getting ready to sell the house. I mean, those are big things. So that's what I was informed. And I mean, if you think about it, this whole thing happened in a 6-week stretch. Like, that's not really that much of a time frame. So in that sense, like, it's believable to me. Yes, I went to the house, and the first time I was there,
Think about it.
I hung out in their like front living room. I just sat on the floor, and it was on the 4th of July. It was the morning of the 4th, and I was helping him to set up MyFitnessPal app and like track his food and his calories and stuff, because he does pretty good with the working out and stuff. And he asked me, he's like, "Can you help me just like get this dialed in?" It's like, yeah, I can do that. So that he invited me up to the house, and I was already kind of hesitant to do it because I was like, there are other people that live here, and I just felt like it was an invasion of space. And so I went up there, and we just stayed in that front room, and I helped him out with that, and got him all set up with that. And
that's
then,
swallow?
oh, he asked me if I wanted lunch, and he grilled chicken and carrots, and then that's all he had. And I was like, okay, so we ate, and then I left. And then there was another day about, I can give you the date-ish. Let me look at a calendar. I think it was the weekend after my birthday.
Just a thing on the courtesy for the phone for, what was that guy's name, Don?
All right, here we go.
That's a good question. So once through the garage, and I think once through the front door. I think the first time was through the front door, and I think the second time was through the garage.
Is there anything unique about either of the doors when you went into the house that might not be typical of another house?
Like a unique door.
Not the
they have
door
a camera
itself.
on there.
She gets irritated by that question for some reason, aggravated. But coming up as she's talking about going into the garage, if she'd been through the garage, you can hear her voice really shaky.
Door.
Okay,
I mean,
there's
I know
a
that.
camera on which door?
It's on the front door, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Did he use a key to access the house?
No.
Shaky.
He did not. The first time I went over there, he just let me in. And then the second time, did we go through the garage? I don't remember. I've been through his garage before. I went through his front door once, though, because I remember he had just cleaned. It was the first time I went through his front door, because he had just cleaned his.
If she said that I've been through his garage before, but she had only been there twice. But now she can't remember if that's how she went through the house or not, through the garage or not through the garage. She's only been there twice. It's very confusing.
Carpets, and he had moved all the furniture out of the way, and the furniture was kind of in the way of the door. And he's like, the door doesn't open all the way right now. I'll move all the furniture back when the carpet dries. So I do remember that, just kind of offhandedly. And the second time, I want to say we went through his garage, because I remember his garage. I remember, yeah.
So he was at the house when you went there. You were never there by yourself.
He was at,
or he took you there.
The first time he was already there,
Okay.
and I met up with him. And the second time we went there together.
So the front door, I asked if he had used a key.
He let me in.
Okay. So there's a, those keypads where you can enter an access code. Do you remember seeing that on this door?
I want to say vaguely, but to be honest with you, I don't remember. Like, he let me in that day. That
So
was
he never
so
gave
long
you.
ago.
He never gave you the code to access his home.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
You talked about a security system. There was a camera on the front door. Was that just like what a Ring doorbell is that goes to your phone?
I don't even know what it looked like. I only know that it existed either because A, I wasn't paying attention the first time I was over there, but B, because of all the stuff that's going on right now. That's the only reason I know it's in
Did you remember
existence.
seeing any cameras anywhere in the house?
No.
Okay. Did he ever?
That's a lie. She does remember. And then what else did she state? There's plenty of times that she said she'd only sat in the living room. She had only went in the living room and saw a picture of his wife and one kid. But then later on, she'd seen the basement where he was staying. Then there was another conversation later on where she'd seen the kids' bedrooms, but she'd never would enter their bedroom. That's their sacred space. All right, let's finish up listening.
No, I wouldn't have asked for that. I wouldn't have wanted that anyways.
Sorry to regress to that.
No, you're
Go
okay.
back to the phone call, or where you noticed the television in the background of the
Yeah.
phone call.
So I didn't know what room he was in, but I was just like, I just thought it was weird. Because he's always like, before I go to bed and I lay down, he's always like kind of trying to do the same thing. We just talk. It's like a really chill thing till one of us was about to pass out, and then that's like the end of it. But it was strange because I was like, the TV's on. I remember I was thinking, I was like, maybe he's waiting up for her. And then I was like, maybe not. I didn't know. It wasn't something that like alerted me. It was just different from his.
I mean, okay, what is strange about having a TV on when you're awake in your home and you're on the phone? There is nothing strange about that. And the fact that she says that it is strange and the amount of information that she puts into this being a red flag of something she thought was strange, it just doesn't make sense, guys. This girl is a compulsive liar. I think she's a sociopath. And I'm going to do a video on where I think that I hear Chris slip and mention she was responsible for killing the children. That's my belief. And I'm allowed to have that here in America. I'm allowed to say that here in America. This girl killed those 2 children. Chris Watts killed his wife. Until next time.
We get you back the pretties, we get you back the pretties, we get you back the pretties, we get you back, 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 we get you back.